Or the same people who saw their votes before would see them now, and no additional people.
Would it just be easier to conserve anonymity that we could just subtract their votes out and then just reopen the system to all students, and that way, if they wanted to change their vote, they could.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, that's good. You can do that.
Do you have the number of Kent students that voted, right?
Undergraduate, that voted via email.
But if you just subtract it out of there, how do you know which one they voted for?
Because they had to submit via email and say who they voted for.
So they had to try.
So it could be seen who they voted for. So we would know how many via email voted for a specific person. So you subtract that off of their total and then just let all of them vote.
Or no, wait, I think what he was saying was just take their vote. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do we still have the ability to make friendly amendments or talk about the language at all, or what are we constitutionally allowed to do?
We are going to finish this friendly amendment the way it is, and we're going to send it to the next Senate meeting. That's all we're doing.
I believe we can issue a call of the House.
No, that's what I said.
That's what we just did?
The call of the House is where we compel all the members that are not currently here to come, which we have no legal authority to do so, unlike actual Congress. And they're not coming back.
Could we not act by modifying remuneration policies?
I mean, you could, but they're still not coming back.
True.
Quickly, just to add on to what Allison was saying, I think one of the things that we could do as a smart Senate to prevent from being in this position again is to do things like this, to tell the court to justify that the card mail or that the online voting system for Kent undergraduates works those days. If they have to prove, if the burden of proof is on them to make sure that the system is working, we can avoid being here again. I think that's probably a good idea to do for all elections, and to release the full returns as soon as the election is over. I don't know why we wait 15 hours and they only give us a small breakdown. They usually give a lot more demographic specifics. It would be easier, the more transparent we can make these elections, the more available, the easier it is to vote, the more accessible we can make them, the less problems we'll have in this respect. So I just want to throw that out there.
Kyle and Allison and Suja.
Can I say two things?
You can say 3 or 4 things.
Okay. One, I have a question. Whoever can answer it. Like, whenever you vote on ULIC, is anyone allowed to see, like, I mean, I know, like, the general population can't go see what you vote, but, like, could Frank go and, like, pull up and see, like, who specifically voted what on ULIC? Or is it all just artists?
I really don't think he can.
Okay.
But then again, if you talk to, and Travis, you may be one of the best ones. I mean, if you're voting from an address or an IP address, and I know this from the police, I think a lot of people can track different things back through systems. So, but
like a log with every single person. There's like ID, name, vote, ID. That
but there's not anything that sorts it that way. The program's not set up that way. But
So I'm just not asking because, like, the policy does say, like, there has to be a secret vote and that everyone's allowed to vote. And if Kent School was allowed to vote technically, like, it wasn't very clear and stuff, but I was just wondering, like, if, you know, because you're saying, like, it wasn't constitutional because Frank can look and see who voted, but at the same time, like,
not Frank, anybody could.
I mean, could anybody see?
If they're you access the service.
Let's go to work study could.
And then also, I would like to yield the floor to Max.
I yield. In discussion with them last.
Allison and then Suja.
The final system says if there's no change to the results of the potential votes and the results from the current runoff shall stand. Does that mean that the results that will come from the runoff as it is currently, will those remain secret until the Kent School has already been decided, or how are we going to go about controlling that?
We can put that stipulation. The runoff results remain secret until the.
That is really, like, to me, it's really confusing because, like, A, how are you going to be able to tell who voted in that one and, like, people from, I guess, are you trying to say, like, you'll just take this one day and, like, pause them, I guess, and then do the 3, and then, like, re-pick up this day if it comes out where it wasn't?
So the runoff election is going to continue as is,
okay.
And we're going to seal those results. So they'll stay with either Frank or Dean Martis. Somebody from Student Affairs will keep those results and seal them. Kent School will have their separate election, and the runoff results won't be announced until after the Kent School election.
But what if Travis would, like, get more votes and be in the runoff?
Then we would
just be discarded?
Right.
And
the Supreme Court's just gonna go ahead and give them to the public because this is not gonna be passed for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's nice.
But,
I agree.
like,
You're right.
The point is we at least have general consensus, at least act on some authority to influence that case.
I mean, okay, there's a huge problem because what's gonna happen is the runoff election results will be disclosed. Like, I mean, people will know about it, and like,
And to put another thing, who's to say, like, what if John won the runoff, but then Curtis won, like, with all three of them? Like, I just feel like that would be really confusing, like, holding a runoff for 2 people, going back and voting for 3 people, and then deciding from there. I guess to me, that's just really confusing, so also, like, something could happen in it where they're, like, there's something that could, like, change someone's vote to where, like, it would be a runoff, like, that they might not have voted for the first runoff, that would be different if we held the second runoff, I guess. If that makes any sense?
I agree. I don't think there's any way to avoid confusion at this point in time.
I mean, the one thing is that at least the Kent School president has access to all undergraduates, all PhDs, all masters separately, so she can send out an email to them, and we can be assured that they will at least get it, because I do know that they do get hers. So, I mean, that's one thing. We also have IT send out one as well, but that direct communication, and that too, they also recognize her name, so they're more likely to listen to it. So I don't think it'd be that big a deal.
Cody, you're first, then Preston, then Pooja, then Mike.
I was just curious, is there any chance the court can decide that none of this is valid because we don't have quorum? They decide that they don't wanna go forward with this.
We have no power to compel the court to do anything right now. If we were to say, take a straw poll right now and ask them to seal the results, maybe they'll be nice enough to listen to us.
Yeah, I mean, if you all did put some, and this isn't, I mean, you don't have quorum, but I think Paul's right. If you all put something that's logical and you try and get it to the court and they review it, and if we can get some kind of general consensus, then the court goes with that, and there's the consensus of the Senate group, then, I mean, the court right now is the one who has to be, who's taking the action related to the election, because that's what they're supposed to do, so.
Can I make a motion real quick? I'd like to move that we send a completely non-binding letter to the court to ask them to please keep the runoff results from this current runoff sealed until after we've had a chance to vote on this and give the Kent students the opportunity to possibly vote.
We don't have quorum yet.
No, that's why I said completely non-binding.
No,
Like,
but we can't vote on that motion because we don't have
I
quorum.
think you're just requesting that we make a letter to the
I was just requesting us, those of us present to sign off and say, those of us present will, I'll write a letter and send it, just those of us who are allowed.
Those of us who are allowed will agree to put our names on the letter.
Right, and we can just raise our hand.
And then somebody can take the notes of the names and put them on the letter.
We care, we don't care about
Okay, Preston, did you have something?
Yeah.
Then Mike, then Pooja.
I just wanted to quickly say, I think the only fair thing is that we seal the election results. It's not fair just to kill this runoff. It doesn't make sense to do that. Because in the event that Travis doesn't, the status quo continues, that it wouldn't be fair to John or Curtis to have them working as hard to have an election. So, although we would rather have, like, you know, it would be nice if the court heard our injunction hearing and stop the runoff election on Monday night or Sunday night or Saturday night when they had the opportunity to. We can't do anything about that. But what we can do, and I want to make sure this is very, very clear. I've heard this in Dr. Martis's tone and Paul's and Deep's. The Senate owns the elections. The court does not own the elections. The Senate owns the election. It says it in the Constitution. They have to do, they're literally compelled to do and to run and to administer what we give them. We don't have quorum, so I think we should all either follow the line and sign up Paul's letter and ask them to do what's right here. But I mean, we don't really have much less to discuss.
Mike.
I guess I have 2 questions. First one, this is from my own personal curiosity, who won Kent School president this year during the elections?
They don't vote through ballots, but I don't know who the next.
They have a separate election that I don't think is taking place yet.
It has not taken place.
Pooja, did you still have something?
So I just wanna make sure, this is what we're deciding at the end of the day. We're saying that these runoff elections right now are gonna happen. They may or may not be sealed, depending on the court. And then, at the next Senate meeting, I think it's March 22nd, we will be voting on this. Correct? And the Senate can vote no. And then these elections won't happen at all.
Yes.
Or they will happen and then there'll be another election. Okay.
Very well said. Does everyone understand that? We're good? Okay, so, because we can actually vote, does everyone agree with that? Wave, say hi. I mean, say hi.
Ask for general consensus, or ask.
I think we have consensus, but I mean, people are waiting.
How about it's easier? Everybody knows.
Oh, we have last
Seriously,
week.
if you support general consensus, please raise your hand so we can see.
Okay, anyway, I'll write the letter and ask the court and say that those 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
We have to withdraw the other split motion, right?
No, because we already voted on it.
No, I'm talking about the one where we split it off. We can withdraw. Oh, we actually never brought it to the floor,
I just
technically.
never brought it to the floor.
Okay, so it can die on the floor.
I would move to adjourn, but.
I call for the
We'll
order.
have a couple of business items.
I call for the orders of the day.
First, let's close this out.
Sure, oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I need a motion on the floor, I know we don't have quorum, to just send it to next Senate meeting. Okay, I'm gonna assume everybody voted yes, it's getting sent to next Senate meeting. Is that okay?
And then, are you all sending this to the court too?
Paul's letter is the only thing that's going to the
But
court.
I'll send them a copy of that amendment.
Okay. What? Paul's letter will include this amendment.
Hey,
Yeah.
to make this easier, I saw some hands that didn't go up. It'd probably be easier to track people who did not support the letter than it would be to track people who did. So maybe we want to.
Is there anybody who does not support the letter?
I mean, I wasn't going to include names, I was going to say
really?
approximately 22 of us.
Whatever.
Okay, Travis has a new piece of business.
No, not business really, but, D-Board, just because I wasn't here earlier, the D-Board did need to consider some allegations that we dismissed them unanimously, so no worry about that. But however, the D-Board, we will make a more formal report at the next Senate meeting when people are here. We've identified essentially that there are some very serious communication issues going on between multiple organs in the Senate, which I'm sure is probably no surprise to people, but, we're trying to come up with a method to best resolve some of these, and also, figure out, just to clarify some language in the Constitution. So that's gonna be some stuff the D-Board will be doing over the next couple of weeks, but the item of business in the D-Board, in new business is withdrawn.
Okay. Are there any announcements?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to the back door, everyone's welcome to come. If you're 21.
Real quick, I do want to thank everybody for your time here tonight. I hate making legislation that's specifically about me when it benefits me. It's not who I am. But in this particular case, no one was willing to hear it, and somebody had to hear it. So if nothing else, what comes of this and this very long discussion we spent here tonight is that next year, when the election rules are made, that we need to make sure we take the time and not rush them through, and make sure that we figure out a method beforehand, before it all starts, to say this is how we can vote. So please take that message back to your constituents and your successors for the next year. That's the most important thing, because every year it's something like this. And once again, thank you so much for your time for being here tonight. I really do appreciate it.
I have an announcement.
Yes, sir.
Or a recommendation. Because of our location, I would advise people to leave in groups. We did have an HSC, we had a meeting down here, one of the Senate meetings, and then on the way out, this was 2 years ago maybe, one of the senators got mugged on the way out. So that's, and I'll be here, and I'm willing to walk out with anybody who's not walking out in another group, but just, you know, be aware of your surroundings and downtown.
If those of us who go all the way around here, come find us.